Welcome to CBSE English Tutorial, a visual guide.
Hey everyone, let's talk about probably the most common, most fundamental tense in all of English. Seriously, you use it all the time without even thinking about it. For your morning routine, for scientific facts, even for what time your favorite show starts. It's the simple present, and in the next few minutes, we're going to make sure you absolutely master it. So, have you ever stopped to think about that? How do you talk about your daily habits? Or how do you state a fact that never changes, like the earth revolves around the sun? Well, you're already using the simple present tense. Let's break down exactly how it works and why it's the perfect tool for the job. So here's our game plan. It's super simple. First, we'll cover what it is. Then, we'll look at when you should use it. After that, we'll get practical and learn how to build statements, ask questions, and even give commands. And we'll wrap it all up with a key takeaway. Ready? Let's dive in. Okay, first things first, let's get a really clear definition down. What exactly is the simple present tense? So the textbook definition tells us it's all about consistency. It's what we use for actions that happen again and again, facts that are universally true, and just general statements that we can count on. But let's break that down even further. The easiest way to think about it is this. Simple present is for your habits, for solid facts, and for your daily routines. If it's something that's constant or predictable, this is the tense you're going to reach for. All right, now that we know what it is, let's get really practical. When do you actually pull this tense out of your grammar toolkit? Well, it turns out there are 4 main situations where it's the perfect fit. Let's look at these 4 key uses. First up, habits, like she reads every day. It's an action that repeats. Then you have universal truths, things that are just always true, like the sun rises in the east. Can't argue with that. Same goes for general facts, scientific principles, like water boils at 100 degrees Celsius. And finally, routines or schedules. For example, I go to school at 9 a.m. See the common thread here? It's all about consistency and reliability. Okay, theory time is over. Now let's see how this all works in real sentences. We're going to start with the most common type, simple statements, or what are called declarative sentences. Now, the structure here is pretty simple, but there is one little detail you've got to watch out for. For a positive statement, it's just subject plus the verb. But look closely at reads. See that S? That is the golden rule for when your subject is he, she, or it. You have to add that S or ES. Now, when we want to make it negative, we bring in a helper verb, do not or does not. And, this is important, the main verb drops the S, so it becomes she does not read. Simple, right? But we don't just state facts all day. What if you want to ask something? Well, the sentence structure flips around just a little bit. Let's check out how to form questions or interrogative sentences. And here's the big change. Our little helper verb, do or does, becomes the star of the show and jumps right to the front of the line. So, she reads books flips to become, does she read books? And notice again, the verb goes back to its base form, read, because does is already doing all the heavy lifting. The exact same logic applies for negative questions too. Now, this is a great little point about how people actually talk. While do they not play football is perfectly correct, it sounds pretty formal, right? In an everyday conversation, you're much more likely to hear and use the contraction, don't they play football? Both are right, it just depends on the situation. All right, on to our final sentence type for today, the imperative. This is what we use to give commands, make requests, or tell someone how to do something. And honestly, it's the simplest one of them all. Yeah, this one is so straightforward because we don't even say the subject. Why? Because everyone knows you mean you. You just kick things off with the verb, read the book. And to make it negative, you just pop do not, or more commonly, don't right in front. Don't read loudly. It's that direct. Okay, but what if you're not talking directly to you? How do you give a command that involves somebody else, like a third person? Well, the answer is a fantastic little word, let. The formula is just let plus the person, him, her, or them, and then the simple verb, let him read. And for the negative, the word not gets cleverly tucked in right after the person. Let him not go. This is perfect for when you're making suggestions or giving commands that feel a little less direct. So we've covered the what, the when, and the how. We've gone through a lot. So what's the big idea? Let's boil it all down and put it all together. And that really is the heart of it. Getting this tense right is absolutely fundamental. It's the language of our routines, of science, of just our everyday conversations. It gives your English a solid, reliable foundation you can build everything else on. So, to wrap this up, I'm going to leave you with a little challenge to put this into practice right now. Think of a universal truth, a simple fact, or just something about your own life. What is one thing you can state right now using the simple present tense? Go on, give it a shot.
Thank you for watching. See you again in a bit.